Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. My name's Chris and today we're going to test out the Harbor Freight Hercules 3/8 inch drive compact impact wrench. This is part of their 12 volt system, and if you can pick this thing up on a deal, this is the one that I picked up. I roughly paid around $85 for this, and if you can get this set and it can meet or exceed the stated specifications on there, this might be the right tool to replace or even be the tool that you want to purchase instead of buying a Snap-on product or a Milwaukee product. It's got 1,200 inch-pounds, which equates to roughly around 100 foot-pounds. So it's going to be important to see if this thing performs at least, if not better, than what Harbor Freight states, because that's the breakaway torque. And at the right price, this thing might be the next tool for you. So let's get to testing the Harbor Freight Hercules 3/8 inch drive compact impact wrench and see how this tool performs. So here you can see we are dialed in at 100 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and validate our lug nuts here. You can see that that one's 102. That's 100.1. And that's 100.5. We got our Hercules 12 volt impact. We got 3 green bars. We're going to go ahead and remove those. So you can see we were able to remove all 3 of those lug nuts with the Hercules. So let's go ahead and hand tighten this down. Then we'll run it in with the Hercules and see how much torque is required to take off that fastener. All right, so we let that run down and we'll see just how much force. Oh man. So that put out 139.5 foot-pounds. So far, I'm pretty impressed with the Hercules. It was able to take off 100 foot-pounds, which is the stated 1,200 inch-pounds of nut-busting torque. Let's head on inside to a controlled environment where we take a wheel stud and a lug nut and a rundown fixture and see just how much torque output this Hercules has. So we have a 9/16 wheel stud. We got a fastener. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down to 100 foot-pounds because that's what Harbor Freight states that this tool will be able to do. We'll see how this tool performs. So we're dialed in at 101 foot-pounds. So we got a full battery on the Hercules tool. You can see there we got all 3 bars. And we're in the reverse position, so we'll see how this takes it. So not too bad of a problem there. 100 foot-pounds. That thing is definitely coming off pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and bump this up to around 125 foot-pounds. So that's a good number. That's the stated specs that the Snap-on CT761AG is said to have on the raw sheet for data. So we're dialed in at 124.6 foot-pounds. Again, we'll see how this Harbor Freight Hercules 3/8 inch drive impact works. So no problems taken off that at 125 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and bump this up to about 135 foot-pounds. So here we're going to dial in 135 foot-pounds. We dialed in 134.6 foot-pounds. See how the Hercules does. So no problems at 135 foot-pounds. We'll bump that up to 145 and see how it performs. So we're at 146.4. Let's see how the Hercules does. You can see that we have 3 battery bars on there. So 146 foot-pounds on the Hercules. Let's bump that up to 155. So we got that dialed in at 156.5 foot-pounds. So we'll see how the Hercules does at 156.5 foot-pounds. Wow, that Hercules took off 156 foot-pounds. Feels like it's definitely reaching its max. Still do have 3 bars on there. Let's bump it up to 160 and see how the Hercules does. So we'll bump it up to 160 here. So you got 162 foot-pounds on there. We'll see how that Harbor Freight Hercules performs. 162 foot-pounds. That's pretty impressive. So the Hercules tore through 162 foot-pounds. Really, really impressive. Let's go ahead and tighten this up to 170 and see if we're able to remove this fastener. So we're actually dialed in at 173 foot-pounds. And we'll see if the Hercules can take it. Still have 3 full bars there. See how this does. So it looks like the Hercules is not able to do 170 foot-pounds. We'll give it one more go here. Looks like we did get 170 foot-pounds on the Hercules. I think if you let that thing sit, it's gonna ride with the big boys. That Hercules came to play. All right, so the Hercules, unbelievable. We're gonna go ahead and take this to 175 and see if we're able to get that off. All right, so we're dialed in at 176 foot-pounds. We'll see if the Hercules is able to take off 176 foot-pounds. See what it can do. So 176 foot-pounds. That's really impressive. Let's see what we're heating this thing up to. Now this is a brushed model. Looks like we're running at 86 degrees on the housing. 88 degrees back on the motor, 85. So everything's still really well within operating temperature. All right, so we're gonna take the Hercules to 180 foot-pounds and see if finally we can find a stopping point for this. So go ahead and tighten it down to 180 foot-pounds. So we got 182.6 foot-pounds. See if the Hercules can finally meet its match. So 182 foot-pounds. Really, really impressed with the Hercules. Could not ever believe that a 12-volt compact impact could take off 182 foot-pounds. So our torque wrench is dialed in at 190 foot-pounds. We're gonna tighten this thing down and see if finally we're gonna be able to stop the Hercules here, because it's pretty unbelievable the amount of torque that it's throwing down. So we're at 192.4 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and see if the Hercules is able to take that off. So it looks like 192 pounds is a little bit too much for the Hercules, but this thing was only supposed to do 100 foot-pounds or 1,200 inch-pounds. So everything that this Hercules did, 150, 60, 70, and even 180 foot-pounds. Really, really, really impressed with that Hercules. Here you can see we're still sitting on 3 bars. Wow. So we saw that the breakaway torque on the Hercules 3/8 inch drive was pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and torque this down and see how much force it requires to take that fastener off. All right, so we ran that for a little bit. We'll go ahead and take this off and see just how much torque it was able to put down. So it put down 126.9 foot-pounds for being able to tighten that fastener. Now we'll go ahead and make sure we don't run it down all the way. So here you can see that it's still hand loose. That way we can tell that we don't get a running start with it. Alrighty, so we went ahead and tightened that fastener down. Let's see just how much torque it takes to remove that fastener. So I was able to torque that down at 134.6 foot-pounds, which again, both of those numbers well exceed what the stated specs were on this impact of around 100 foot-pounds for the max breakaway torque, as well as that converts over to 1,200 inch-pounds. So my final thoughts on the Hercules 3/8 inch drive compact impact wrench. It's 12 volts. The battery, if you wanted to buy that separately, is around 25 bucks. The tool, it's around $50. And the charger is around $30 to $35. Now you can get a discount on that with the combo purchase, brings that down to $85. Harbor Freight really, really understates the breakaway torque on this at 1,200 inch-pounds or 100 foot-pounds. You saw the numbers well exceeded that. It's a light tool. It comes in at 1.87 pounds, so just under 2 pounds for the tool. And when you throw that battery on there, it's under 2.5 pounds. So it's a pretty light tool. It's fairly skinny, but it's also fairly long. So if you look at something like the Bosch, you can see that it's definitely wider. And by the time you put something on there, it's going to be just as long for the socket. Now, I don't necessarily think you need an extended warranty on this at the price point, but it's your money. You spend it how you want. I think the tool performed exactly how it was supposed to, and I hope I can use it day over day and have it last multiple years for me. They have a couple other tools in this line, and I may buy into it. The reason I jumped on this is because I keep waiting for my new rigid subcompact 3/8 stubby. It's on back order. Hopefully when I have that in, I'll have a link up above in the cards as well as down below in the description. And then we'll put that head to head with the Hercules when that comes in. So really excited about that video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. You won't want to miss out on that head to head. So again, guys, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as always, work smarter, not harder, and I'll catch you in the next video. Just a friendly reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Well, that's a problem. Let's go shoot a YouTube video.